So are we? Hello, everyone. Hey, Vandal. Okay, so today I'm doing a Return of Wolverine commission, or a Wolverine commission in the Return of Wolverine outfit. As for the last few commissions I've worked on, I haven't planned anything out, so I am going to just figure it out as I go along. So, let me see. This focus is kind of a bit weird. It's better. Okay. It's too big. You know, like rubber. Hi, Steiny4. Don't think you've been on here before, have you? Oh, very nice. Thanks, Doig. So, if you don't know me or my work, I'm an artist, writer for Marvel Comics and Image Comics. I do these commissions on Mondays. And I'm still figuring this out as I go. Don't know if I like it. Yeah, I'm not into this. Hush, Puffy. You may hear a meowing cat in the background. It's because she is an annoying little monster who has been fed but continues to meow. Hey, old Harry. Hey, I'm doing the Return of Wolverine costume, the one that I've designed. That was unanimously loved by all the internet, as far as I can remember. How's work going as of late? Great, thanks for asking. All well. I am quite fortunate to be busy doing work that I quite enjoy, so I can't complain. I hope all is well with you. Yes, more wish. Oh, thanks, Harry. I liked it too. They got a bit of it going on the internet, but I don't care. That's nice to hear, Steiny. Dead End. Is this the first time for you as well, Dead End? I don't think we've talked before. Well, Harry is asking, besides my design, what's one of my favourite Wolverine designs? I quite like that brown costume, I have to say. Although I'm a very big fan of the original of the classic yellow and blue. Okay, let's measure this out a bit. Evening, Minsk. Hey, David. How's it going? Dead End. Long time fan. Oh, thanks very much. Cheers. I'm saying nice things. Well, for those who are new, feel free to ask questions. I tend to get a little groggy when I'm not good at multitasking, but it's good for me to chat away a bit as I'm drawing, so I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Keep me going as I draw this. That jingling, by the way, is also my cat. So it's not too annoying. If it is, let me know and I'll take her out. There's a happy Logan there, smiling away. Oh, Steiny, you know that cat. Oh, I'm assuming you tuned into Michael India's live streams then. Her name is Buffy. And Pisto Ipiri. Love me some Smiley Logan. I was being facetious there. He's not smiling, he's growling. He's being a big miserable sod like he normally is. Holla holla to you too. Area the modular designs of Wolverine have all been good, but the Astonishing X-Men 1 to Uncanny X-Force, those are those are very, very good actually. Now that I quite liked the Cassaday one, I have to say, the Astonishing X-Men one. And the X-Force one, yeah, I got to draw that in Return of Wolverine, and it was great fun. Those were actually very good design. They were very good designs. I got some slack for this design because people were like, "This isn't the Wolverine costume." That's what they actually sounded like. But if you read the story, you can see that like he doesn't wake up in a costume shop. He's in this kind of sci-fi military base, and he takes what's there. So it's really more of a kind of a sci-fi costume. But I have little nods to classic Wolverine costumes in there. Have I ever drawn my cat into the comic? Any of these Easter eggs or cameos you may have dropped into the background? Pardon me, excuse me. No, I've never drawn Buffy into a book. But I've never had to draw a cat. I'm not really one to put in stuff if it's not called for story-wise, if I'm being honest. But, saying that, there is one Easter egg in that was fun in Marvel's the 2-in-1 I did with Chip Zdarsky. There's a bit where we see Doctor Doom in Doctor Doom's lair. There's a family crest on the wall, and it's the Shalvey family crest. And that's more of a nod to an issue of Fantastic Four that John Byrne drew, where he drew the Byrne family crest onto the wall of one of Doom's castles. So that was my little nod to that issue, and also, you know, myself, I guess. But I'm trying to think of other Easter eggs and stuff. I don't do a lot. I drew a local pub into a couple of issues, one of Injection and one of no, just the one actually. But I'd say you know that one, David, the Long Stone. Or maybe you don't. Sure, from Limerick, not Dublin. Jesus. There's a pardon me, sorry. Just got a frog in my throat. There's a pub I quite liked in Dublin that I drew into an issue of Injection, and it has unfortunately just been shut down. Which I was not happy about. What else? I used to draw a lot of Friends into 20 Days Later because I draw lots of kind of like zombie-ish characters, so just to stop all the faces getting homogenous, I would try to draw some friends. To my sister in there and some college friends. I'll tell you one thing, I'd probably remember more if I was going through issues, because I tend to look through older stuff and go, oh, I forgot about that. Harry says, I have a massive soft spot for the 90s Black Ops Team X style suit. You mean the, which is that? I don't even know that one. Excuse me. No, David, not George. No, not It's not Georgia Street. It was bloody hell, what's the name? But it was right next to the Irish Times building there, right up just by Pier Street. It was called I can't remember the name right now. The Longstone. Steiny, what are some influences for my work? A lot of my influences would be a lot of the 90s comics I read as a kid, like Jim Lee, Andy Kubert, Mark Bagley, etc. But and these days, you know, I guess I'm looking at a lot more designers these days, as I think of it. But I have like a top three of I would say Goran Parlov, JP Leon, Stuart Immonen. There's lots of really great artists out there. I wouldn't look at like my childhood heroes anymore for the most part, except for maybe some like Sienkiewicz that I would have liked, and then you see their work change dramatically over their careers, and weirdly you'd get into their like their very different stuff that you wouldn't have liked as a kid. Oh, hey Adam, how's it going? Quiet in here today. I don't know. It's a lot busier than last week, I would say. Last week felt a little quiet. Harry, it's black and yellow. It's the CIA and his Wolverine was in the Saber-Tooth Maverick. Oh yeah. Sorry, I know what you mean. Forgot about that stuff. Well, although it's only really in the two-parter, isn't it? But yeah, that stuff was great. Hey Adam, yeah, this is the return costume that I designed. Neil Squared, this is super cool to watch. Thanks for streaming. Do I mostly work on physical medium or do I draw digitally sometimes too? Hey Neil, I don't think you've been on here before, have you? If not, thanks for coming or watching, I guess. No, I don't do any digital work at all. I'll color in Photoshop, but drawing wise, it's all on paper. Anything I do in comics, is effectively done the way I'm doing this right now. Harry, I've had a toy of it when I was a kid. Who is your favourite Wolverine-related character? You had a toy of that costume? I didn't even know they had toys of that costume. The only toy Wolverine toy I was able to get was the original yellow and blue, but it was a really shitty version where he essentially just a little crowbar sticking out of his hands. Oh, it was terrible. I really, really resent everyone who get, like all the kids who get to really cool toys these days. Because ours sucked. Who's my favourite Wolverine related character? That is a fair question. Do quite like Sabretooth. I just like that's how closely linked he is to Wolverine, and it's kind of more of a emotionally resonant character. May seem like a boring answer, I'm sorry. I mean, I read so much of the classic 90s stuff that I'm always going to be a little bit more inclined to have those kind of answers. Neil, I've not shown before, though followed my work for a while. Injection of my favourites. Was on the 3 minutes on Twitter, so I wanted to come check it out. Thank you very much. Thanks for trying it out, and thanks for picking up Injection. I am really, really glad you like it. Because I work really hard on it. I think I might be coming down something. I've got a very tickly throat today. Declan, yes or no? Declan, yes or no? I like Declan. Again, if it's emotionally resonant, I tend to like those characters. If it's just kind of, if there's nothing more than just like something like physical, then yeah, I'm not that engaged. Tooth. Good morning. I'm glad you could check in too, Tooth. Here, you'll find a picture of the toy you had and send it to me on Twitter. Please do. That would be, yeah, I've never seen those. Okay, we're half far in now. I can't tell. It'll be a half hour in. And that is roughly it penciled. So check some. I'm just checking. Make sure I get that insignia right. I knew it's not on that. It's not on that arm. I knew. Okay, it's not on that one. It is on this one, and it is correct or not correct. I hope you've read issue 2 of Return of Wolverine because you're getting to see it for free right here. Yeah, it is like this. Squeaky geek. Tooth. No, it's really fine. Honestly, I've only really noticed that I have the cough, or just as I started streaming. I'm fine. Thank you, though. That concept of Wolverine swimming always bothers me. Okay. Doesn't bother me. Adam, did I have the 90s Wolverine figure with the removable mask? No. Even his mask looks stupid. He had like big lumps on his arms where they had retractable claws, but you know, they were so safe, they weren't really claws, they were just like plastic bars that stuck out. It's crap. Tooth. Dude has 100 plus of metal attached to his bones, he shouldn't be buoyant. That is a fair point, actually. I did not think of that. Although it's adamantium, it's not. The adamantium isn't necessarily 100% his bones. It's like bonded to his bones, so you know it's not. It's not a. I think you can get around it. He is like a little barrel at the same time, so maybe he's a little. That's what makes him so buoyant. But you make a fair point. Okay, time to bust out the pans. That's enough, Buffy. Dead End. Excited for more injection. Great story, and the art is always stunning. You bought the artist proof book, so good. Thanks so much, Dead End. Cheers. There will be more later this year. I'm just working on something at the moment, and once that's wrapped, I'll be back on injection. Okay, sure, we'll be doing this in time. Tooth is making a lot of compelling arguments for why Wolverine can't float. I can't really argue with your Tooth. Those are all fair points. Stop, puppy. I did not know that about X-23. I thought she had a whole skeleton too. I don't know too much about her, to be honest. Here, I sent a pic of the toy on Twitter. Oh, let me look. Oh, that's not too bad. It's pretty classy. Yeah, mine was not as good as that by any means. I am officially jealous. Did I ever read the Wolverine Punisher Ghost Rider one shot called Hearts of Darkness Ramita on art? You know, I did. I can't remember when though. I think I did. I didn't own it, but I think I got a lend of it or something. I was big to my Ghost Rider there for a while. I am. Sorry, you can tell when I stop talking in the middle of a sentence. I'm thinking of something. Where's my squeak? What was it? Yeah, I liked my Ghost Rider back in the day. X-Wing 3 is one of your favourite remake minority gender sub-characters, whatever I want to call it. Yeah, she's cool. I've only really read her in all new X-Men when she was on the Bendis team, and yeah, I quite liked her. She was cool. I haven't read the Tom Taylor Wolverine stuff. I hear it's brilliant. Yeah, that's fair. A legacy character done well. I would agree. Let me see, where's my out here? Okay. Loon Nation. Hello. I also don't think you've been here before. A lot of new people today, actually, I think. Thanks for everyone for popping in. If you're unaware, I was the artist on Return of Wolverine, and I'm doing a commission of him today. It's here. It's 90s as well. Got my copy signed by our music junior at the Can Marathon I did in 2010. Nice one. Pardon me, sorry about the cough, guys. Literally wasn't here. I didn't have it as of 30 minutes ago. Right, Order Ignition, I'll be working on. Tooth, did I catch any Super Bowl yesterday? I did not. So there's too American for me. I'm not into sports, and I'm even less into foreign sports. But you know, nothing against anybody who is. Just not my thing. All I really know about it is that a man from Maroon 5 got his nips out, which sounds exciting. He's a handsome man. Buffy agrees. What do you think of Adam Levine, Buffy? You like Adam Levine? No? No? Okay, yeah, guess not. Buffy wasn't into him. Yeah, I saw those tattoos. They were, I would say, not classy. It's fair. Take that, Adam Levine. Stupid, sexy Adam Levine. Yeah, Buffy's, she's, so I'm just checking the belt. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, Buffy's holding back her true feelings on Adam Levine. She's not fooling nobody. Harry, the Avengers story was cruel. I'm glad they're barely showing anything. I agree, too. The less they show, the better. If anybody wants to see a trailer for Avengers Endgame, I believe there's a movie called Avengers. What's the last one called? Infinity War. That's a pretty good trailer for the next one. I'm not mad about those clouds. I don't think I'm going to go with them or change them. Toot, have I ever seen a fan with my work on their tattoo on their skin? Yes, I have. On my first Heroes convention, someone showed up with "Do you mind, Buffy? I'm talking." With one of my covers tattooed on their arm, and that was it's weird. Like it's kind of, it's not embarrassing. Is not the word. It's just you feel bad. You're like, I would have done a better drawing if I knew we were going to get it tattooed. But it is, and I've seen lots of Moon Knights, Moon Knight panels and Moon Knight eyes and stuff. I mean, it's the highest form of flattery, really. What am I looking for? Oh, yeah, I did pen. Buffy's trying to intimidate me into feeding her, but she doesn't need food. Oh, thanks, dude. Dude, this complimenting my Moon Knight. I still get lots and lots of compliments about it, so it's always cool. Thanks. That's because implementing the hair on Wolverine. Adam, have I ever hidden goofy stuff in your work for fun? I tuned in a little late there. Somebody asked something similar earlier, and I said that I hid in my family crest in the Marvel 2-in-1 annual. Goofy stuff. I definitely have. I can't remember. I think I did more of it on Thunderbolts back in the day because it was more of a goofy book. I could do more of that type of stuff. Most of the things I put in, I've kind of forgotten about. I think I was looking through something a while ago and I spotted all these little jokes in the background that I've completely forgotten. So I'm sorry if I'm not being really forthcoming. I just can't really remember. Yeah, I can't remember. Sorry. Have I ever done a tattoo? Would I like to do at least one in this lifetime? Like actually done a tattoo onto a person? No, because I'd ruin it. I did design a tattoo for Injection. They all have the same tattoo. Everyone who was part of that crew. And I think it would make a pretty good tattoo actually. And I think I might get that tattoo myself. Tattoo. I don't know how you say it. I'll probably get one myself when I finish the book. I'm thinking I might do that. Because I don't have any tattoos. And I think if I'm going to do it, it'll be a good reason to do it. I mean, the reference to the city stuff in the background, that's all well and good, but I mean, it depends if you have the room for it. If there's space to make those jokes and stuff, that's great. But if not, I just tend to not do that and just, tell the story. Well, that's my job. Oh, okay, I just remembered one. And when I started Thunderbolts, my first issue, I did a fake movie poster for Punisher, but I also had a Who Dat Ninja poster, which is a 30 Rock reference. It's a fake Tracy Jordan movie. Make sure these claws actually going to rub them out. It's a bit messy. I also don't like those clouds. I'm going to rub them out too. Harry, hey, I'm going to personal con this year. I couldn't go last year because of work. Yeah, Harry, I will be. I was announced there a couple of weeks ago, so yeah, I'll be there. I shall see you there, I presume. Hush, buddy. Hush. What issue made me? Sorry, Adam was asking. What issue made me feel like I had to limit myself as a professional? That's a very good question. Let me take a sip of water and think about that. Probably issue 1 or 20 days later. I had done a couple of graphic novels and I got paid, so I was a professional. And I had done small press stuff that was paid, so I was a professional. But when I got to do my first American comic, I think that's where I felt like I was finally doing the thing that I'd wanted to be doing in my whole life. And, you know, American comics aren't the end. I don't like those claws at all. American comics aren't the end all, be all, and end all, but it's definitely where like my ambitions were, and it's hard to even get that far. And once I got there, I felt like I was on the right. I was definitely on the right track by then. Admittedly, the first Marvel comic changed everything as well. Okay. Oh, that's right. There's some more answers there. Neil also has a question. I'm going to jump in the train. What makes a good partner when you're working as a comic writer, illustrator, or otherwise? That is another very good question. That's a good partner. Well, these are all good questions. Normally, I have time to think about this stuff, but answering off the top of my head, I'm probably going to say something stupid. But I would say, being open to the other person's creative process, I think, is very important. I can't be expected for Warren to turn around some writing for me tomorrow. Thankfully, I can say because of some experience in that field, I know that it takes more time to do that. Same with colorists as well, you know, that just because I can color something doesn't mean that I know what it's like to be a colorist or to have the same workload. So being respectful of the other person's craft and workload and is very important. And it also, you know, helps avoid a lot of miscommunication and problems. Just give me 1 second, this is complicated. So let's go first. Not taking advantage of the other person's commitments and stuff like not making sure that your artist isn't way down pages, making sure that your colorist isn't way down pages, stuff like that. Because it's hard to do this job, and those types of problems cause more problems down the line. Being communicative is very important. The way Buffy is being communicated with me right now about wanting to eat something. I respect you, Buffy. Thank you for being communicative. Especially with things like editors and stuff like that, just need to know where you're at. If you have a problem talking to people, you know, just making sure that you're keeping people involved and up to date on where things are. you know, being nice, the odd compliment helps too, no matter what. Like, I don't think Warren Ellis needs compliments from me, but every now and then I'll even make sure I just tell him that I'm liking the script. And I'm working with artists, I find I make sure that I literally I go through the stuff that I think is really good, because I know that I personally like when I know the writer's happy with what I'm doing, I'm much happier. And some people just go like, yeah, cool, thanks, and that's it. And there's an artist who's like, oh, I want more, give me more. I hope that's illuminating. These are all definitely questions I'd like to think about some more. Grown. Buffy's being a butt. So, you know what that means? It's Buffy time. Say hi, Buffy. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Say hello to all the people on the internet. Nah. My grumpy old sod. Haven't I? Yeah. Like Wolverine. Got the same hair. Snarl. Snarl like Wolverine. Yeah, good bird. Will you stop meowing? Will you stop meowing? Let's see what we can show me here. No. Okay. Say hi. Oh, you're in a bad mood, aren't you? Okay. Put you down. Right. What was I? Yes, Buffy is the best at what she does, which is being cute, sleeping in the middle of giant beds, and just being annoying at the most painful times. And also being cute. She's like the best at that. Harry, I live in Southampton, so it's only 30 minutes on the train. Will I be doing sketches there? It's hard to say, Harry. I did 3 sketches at Portsmouth last year. It kind of depends on how the show is going. I wish I could give you more info than that, but you know, the less I draw, the better, to be honest, because it's exhausting, and depends how busy I am as well. But it's entirely possible I will be doing sketches of some kind. Let me see. Yeah, Dead End. Buffy was looking pretty grumpy there. Oh, grumpy than this guy. Tooth, do I have a private collection of comic art? I do. I have squirreled away in the cupboard, so I should really open it up and take another look at it. But I have pieces by J.P. Leon. I have pieces by Tommy Lee Edwards. I have Sean Jesus Christ, Shalvey. Sean Gordon Murphy pieces. Goran Parlov, Jorge Safino. What else off the top of my head? Raphael Albuquerque, James Harron. Yeah, I got some good stuff in there. It's just I squirreled away. I should really bloody frame it all. Adam, will Buffy be there for photo ops? I'm afraid not. No, I keep her at home for her own good. She definitely has a following, though. Let me see. Neil says, I've only been doing comics for a couple of years, worked with 2 artists so far, and that's fears. I appreciate perspective. No problem, Neil. If you have any more specific questions, ask away. Like I said, I'm on the spot here a little, so I may not be giving the best advice. But I'd like to think I'm a good person to work with, so. And we'll cancel your plane ticket now. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no Buffy, no deal, huh? I get it. I think it's the first time that's happened. And Doig, if such a thing as cat safe inks existed, would I let Buffy draw her own comics? No. No, I don't need the competition. Thank you very much. Cat safe inks. What am I more worried about? Whether she'll make a mess of the apartment or she'll make a mess of herself? I'm not sure. I did just put her on a piece, you know. It could have been that I could have gotten ink on her, so maybe I'll have to check her, see if I got ink on her. These jeans are too skinny. The other thing is I didn't do any washes on the Wolverine book, so this will be my first time doing washes on this costume. Let's do some softening. gonna do some washes. she really was definitely sulking. I'm just tweeting there. Sorry. Niels asks, how much direction do I like in script if I'm illustrating? The folks I've worked with so far are almost night and day on that one. That's a fair question. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna do some stuff around here. You go here. You can fuck off over there. Alright. I like clearer direction. I do not like well, direction. Oh, that's right there. I think direction is what it is. It's direction, not I like to know what the writer is looking for. I do not like the writer. I do not want the writer to tell me how to do it. From my point of view, the writer suggests something, and it's my job to realize that idea, or if I have a better idea, provide that. But generally, I would go with what the writer wants. Some like to have very, very, like, there's like the whole, Marvel style stuff. Not my bag. I like there to be actual detail and descriptions in the script. At the same time, I don't want to read a bloody screenplay manuscript. I don't want it to go on and on and on. I just want clarity. Because scripts can get very, very laborious to read. And you're looking for like specific information, like what a character is supposed to look like, or a character type, or some kind of story detail that's necessary. Those types of details are what I'm more interested in. Or the character's emotional state. So those are things I'm quite interested in. But I don't need you to describe something brick by brick. Nor do I want that, And as a result, I keep my scripts fairly light, like necessary information. Now, I know there's artists who like more information, and I'm kind of working on something at the moment where where I'm co-writing something, and the person I'm co-writing with leaves more information on the page than I would do, and the artist quite likes that. So that's interesting, because I thought how I was doing things would be how the artist would prefer it, but I was wrong. So it depends. Warren on injection is very lean and specific, and I like that a lot. But where needed, will give me more information. Worked with people like Jeff Parker, and like his scripts are very entertaining. Like there'll be little jokes in the script; those are always nice too. I know they're not necessary, but when you know a script is written for you, and it's not just like a random script that you're handing to somebody else. Again, makes you feel like it's specifically something that you're collaborating on, rather than just like a random story that you've been asked to kind of just come in and do whatever on. Artists definitely want to feel involved. See. No, Adam, more projects for me. Yeah, Adam, I would say probably not. Doesn't sound like I'd like those. Although I also, I'm sure he's different with each artist. For I remember hearing about those Adam Moore scripts. I'm like, no, thank you. But I'm pretty sure I heard that that's how J.H. Williams likes to work. So for all I know, he's just doing what J.H. Williams wanted. How do I start working with Warren on injection? Well, I don't know if you know, we were working on a book called Moon Knight for Marvel Comics back in 2014. So we were already working together at Marvel, and I was offered something at a creator-owned comic for a different publisher, and I was thinking about it because I was really excited about what Image were doing, and I never have worked on something creator-owned. I thought maybe this would be the project for me, but Warren had said he was only going to do 6 issues of Moon Knight, and if he did more, I would stick around for it, but I wasn't sure if that was still the case. So I asked him if he was only going to do 6 more, or if he wanted to do more than that. Because if he did, I was down, and if he didn't, I might go do this thing at a company. And he asked, why don't I let him, quote unquote, write something for me, and we take it to Image, which was the best offer I've ever gotten in my life. So that's what happened. We talked a little about stuff that I like to draw and whatnot, and Sir Wiley came up with the pitch, sent it into Image, and they said yes. And my life was forever changed. J.H. Williams in a Q&A at local shops that he had his wife edit Prometheus scripts for solely important information. Yeah, it sounds like that's probably what I would do too. I guess I was wrong then. Adam, is there a property I'd like to see come to Marvel or DC like Conan did recently, so you can get a chance to work on it? I don't know. Well, I actually already worked on Conan, so that wasn't really an issue for me. I worked on Conan at Dark Horse. Could you throw me some suggestions? You know, like Marvel has Star Wars now. Okay, maybe something like Star Trek. I would love to do something Star Trek related, but the companies they don't pay as good as Marvel DC. So maybe something like that. I'd love to do like a mini series or something. My thing was always like it wouldn't make sense to do one of those because you know the higher paying work, the higher profile work is superheroes, and I love me some superheroes. But, I will say this is going to sound weird, but I've always wanted to do a Quantum Leap comic because I adore that show. Yeah, you know the shows I love, but I don't necessarily think there should be comics like The Wire. But I don't think a Wire comic is necessarily a great idea. There's definitely shows I really, really like that would be cool to do. Oh, okay, the Whedonverse, yeah. Yeah, Angel. I would love to do an Angel comic. A friend of mine, Stephen Mooney, used to work on Angel, and I was very jealous. I fucking love that show. And I came very close to doing an Angel one-shot at one stage. Very, very close. I pitched Dark Horse a rough idea for something, and I couldn't do it in the end. I think they ended up doing the story, but just not with me. But you know, that was my fault. Yeah, I would love to write and draw an angel thing, definitely. I had, like I said, I had a story idea. I hadn't started writing at the time, so it wouldn't have been me writing it, but yeah, but well, I don't know how Boom are doing with the angel stuff. I don't know if that's a rate that would really work for me at the moment. Also, as much as I'd really like to do it, I think I prefer to create my own stuff, you know? I wouldn't rule it out, but I think if I was going to draw something, it would, for what would be worth to do it, I'd probably prefer to write and draw something at Marvel, or draw something at Image. Those are kind of the two things I'd be more inclined to do. I know they have all the I know that Boom have all the Whedon verse stuff now, but I haven't worked for Boom in a long time, and they didn't pay great when I was there, so I have no idea what it's like now. I would assume it's better for something like Buffy. Hey guys, my screen is frozen. I look at what's streaming on Twitch and it's frozen. Let me know if it's frozen for you guys. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, it's okay. It's been already long enough now. Okay, cool. So welcome for you guys. Let's go. where is Logan in this image? I imagine him between two boulders, looking down before he pounces on you. It looks like he has his reproductive organ hanging out how it's currently inked. You mean around here? Nah, it should be fine once the black's filled in. Oh, I see what you mean, Adam. Yeah, don't worry, that'll we'll get to that. Thanks for the Shalong warning, though. Yeah, I said Shalong. Oh, Jonas! Oh, he pipes up with the knob joke, huh? You're all disgusting. How dare you sully my art with your filthy minds? Oh, you shame of yourselves. you, oh dear. Screw you guys. What are you all, 12? I think you guys all see what you want to see. How about that? Yeah, Logan is a town whore, let's face it. He's the best at what he does, and what he does is slut around. Let's face it. Okay, very good. Good penis jokes, guys. You're all very, very smart. I'm proud of you. Proud of all of you. That's right. Dead end, just as commitment issues. We can all relate to that, right, guys? I was just going to black out those rocks, but I kind of like the scrappiness. It's probably going to work with that. Ooh. Does Charles address that aspect since now that he's returned? Actually, Wolverine is actually pretty. In return, he's actually very honourable. There's somebody else trying to slug up with him, and he's a proper gentleman. Something actually, somebody asked about Wolverine characters, and I would have liked to have drawn Sabretooth in the Wolverine. He isn't in it, but cool to draw him. Oh, thanks, Minsk. When I was designing this costume, it was a deal breaker for me. It was like, you had to see his bare arms. Because it's the most fun part of drawing Wolverine for me, is drawing those kind of thick arms, all the arm hair. Which you can see I haven't drawn yet, because I'm saving the best to last. If it made me subconscious about the zipper song. Neil, you said earlier I liked working with Marvel and Image. Are they similar to work with, from my perspective? Are there differences in how you work with one versus the other? Well, they're very different, to be fair, Neil. Like, one is work for hire, one is creator owned, so just by that nature, they're quite different. Like, you know, so at the moment I'm working for Marvel, and it's great. I like all the people. They're very considerate of my schedule. I've known a lot of people there for years. I like the characters a lot, and I like the people. But at the end of the day, I don't own any of those characters, and while I'm very lucky that Marvel give me really cool projects, I have no real control over that. I can say yes or no to certain things, but you know, when you're doing work for hire comics, you're kind of beholden to whatever offers are given to you. So having something like creator owned in your back pocket where you can essentially just do whatever you like is amazing. The financial rewards of doing work for hire are also, you know, pretty good, quite good. That's why most people do work for hire. Aside from the love of characters and stuff. Well, as much as I like Marvel, being stuck to one company is always a little bit risky from the point of view of a freelancer, because what if they start not liking you anymore, or what if you mess up, or what have you? Saying that, at this stage, it's a lot less stressful for me to work with Marvel because, you know, I'm not worried as anymore as would like to think I've built up enough of a reputation for being reliable and good to work with, and you know, hopefully, sorry, the camera there. Hopefully, a good person to work with, and does good work. Working with Image is different. It's a much smaller group of people. The act of promoting your own work is a million times harder. Wolverine, to a degree, sells himself, so it's a lot easier to push those books because people are familiar with the characters. If you're pushing something creator on, nobody really knows what the hell that is. So you're kind of selling a new concept every time, whereas, you know, superhero stuff has a built-in readership, so it's a lot easier to kind of, especially make a name for yourself. Doing the Marvel stuff more recently has been great because it's a lot less stressful because of, you know, not having to push yourself all the time. But at the end of the, but like, you know, not to sound ungrateful, but like when this Return of Wolverine trade comes out, as much as it's been a fun gig, it's not going to be the work I'm most proud of, because I didn't do all of it. I will have done half of it by the time it's wrapped up. There's things in it that weren't my choice. It was established beforehand with a different creator, which is fine. It's just not what. No. More control for me is better than less control, and with creator-owned stuff, I get to have 100% control, and really develop as a storyteller, I think. And that's just harder to do at bigger companies. Not impossible by any means. And like I said, I'm very fortunate. Marvel are very accommodating. Like, they're letting me color my own covers now and stuff like that, so they're great. But it's just not the same. There's limitations as to what you can do with characters and scenes and how you draw them. It's fairly open. I mean, you know, no one's telling me how to draw Wolverine. Marvel aren't doing that. But you know, if I wanted to give him 7 arms, I can't do that. You know, nor should I, one would argue. But they both have their benefits, and I think doing one or the other can be very stressful either way. But being able to do both is a rare gift that I'm very, very grateful for, because I find that they can inform each other quite nicely, and therefore make both better, and scratch 2 very different creative itches that are a lot more satisfying to do either way. So I can literally do superhero stuff when I feel like it, and I will enjoy it, which is great. You know, I don't get jaded or annoyed by it because I'm only doing it when I like to. And when I want to do stuff that I own, I have that option available to me. I probably totally over-answered your question, but hey, you asked it. Adam, is me, or does it seem like folks go creator owned and then fall off the face of the earth? I don't think so. I guess I ask this of you a lot, but can you give me examples? Yeah, I'm not sure who you're talking about. So yeah, please tell me who you're thinking of. getting there now with this one. Yeah, create our own day is always the most rewarding. It is. Like if I ever get to do Daredevil, I'm sure that'll be very rewarding because it's a life dream. But also, I don't own Daredevil; it's not mine. The most rewarding thing is to do create our own. In my experience, it has been definitely. Okay, gotta start cleaning this guy up a bit. Okay, like Harry Andrews after Renato Jones or Dustin Weaver. Well, okay, well, to be fair, you don't know what these people are working on. You know? Creator owned, I will say, takes longer because it's more work. It's easier for me to just kind of do a few issues of a book of Marvel and then hop off it. It's a lot harder to set up your creator owned stuff because it takes more time, effort, energy, preparation. So there's that. I, for one, have heard that Gary Andrews is working on something, but he's going to have to build up issues for whatever it is. He's going to have to make sure everything's done ahead of time. The problem is, I would say, is that at the monthly grind, everyone's always like, if you disappear for a few months, everyone's like, hey, where are you? But to be like realistically, this stuff takes a lot of time. Shane, I see what you mean. Say with Dustin Weaver and stuff like that. I honestly, I think it's a lot of those guys end up doing work behind the scenes a lot that isn't. It's not as visible, you know. Like I have friends that work in animation, and they have to work on stuff for like months and months and months and months and months, years even, and no one has any idea what they're working on. Until that stuff's allowed to be released. I think in comics we're actually pretty lucky; we can get to like pretty much show what we're working on for the most part. I don't know what any of those guys are working on, but like if they're invisible, they're either working on something or they're not. And if they're not, it's probably because their creator-owned book wasn't selling enough, and then they had to go take creator-owned work. They had to go take work for hire work to pay the bills. If the creator-owned book was doing brilliantly, then they wouldn't need to stop doing it effectively. I was the other way, where I was lucky that we actually were doing well. It's just schedule-wise, things got a bit more complicated. I can't remember why Carrie Andrews left Twitter, but I can certainly imagine why. It's pretty crappy on there sometimes. Right. This guy's nearly done. I'm thinking I might stick a little bit of red on him too. Yeah, I think I might. Let's see. Oh, hello, Andre. How's that going? Cheers, Andre. Thank you. Okay, add a little bit of colour to this. Just trying to experiment a little bit here and there where I get the chance. Oh, oh hey, Espers. Oh, thanks, Dad. Cheers. I'm not very experienced with watercolors. I did a tiny little bit of it in college, so I'm not flying by the seat of my pants here. Had in my opinion, is this the most streamlined suit since Quietly as X-Men? This one? Ooh. Jeez, Adam, you already put me in the spot with all this stuff. No, I mean, Machado's X-Men ones were all streamlined. I mean, you could argue this is quite similar to Scott's costume that he designed. I definitely am a fan of more streamlined costumes in general. Someone who gets to draw them. You know, sometimes somebody designs a costume and then they fuck off. But someone who's aware that someone has to draw these costumes over and over and over again. I certainly try to keep that in mind when I am designing them. Yeah, that might be the case. That like more contemporary artists are trying to modernize by making these not easy, but like for me, it's what's recognizable from the distance, and what's going to be less, not easy, but like just less physically taxing on an artist. So I keep heading behind this thing. These colours are pretty little literal, but you know, like I said, I'm new at this. I certainly never did on proper commissions. I'll hope I haven't ruined that with the colour. Just push back this this bottle a bit. Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention there. I'm just trying to get this colour stuff right. Well, hopefully I haven't made a hames of this. Okay. Oh, Hespers, thanks. I'm glad you like it. I'm not sure if I like it or not. I'll have to think about it for a while. Well, Hulinator, I'm glad you think it looks good so far because it's finished. I'm done. Yeah, this guy that's finished. I thought I might try a little bit of watercolor and I'll see if I like that. But overall, yeah, this is finished now. So I am gonna call it a night. Thanks for tuning in. I'll come back next week. I will have another commission, and I think I might be running out of them. We'll see. But I'll definitely will be back next week and have another one for you then. So thanks a million for coming by and everything. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Oh wait, actually, hang on. I'm going to zoom in just so you guys can actually see how it looks up close. bit of detail there. So yeah, thanks again, guys. I'll catch you later.